Outstanding. Yeah, so let's welcome everybody. Let's kind of run through the list. If you just want to say that you're here, I'll do this rapid fire. So Hannah,
Here.
Stacy on mute,
I am here.
Michael on mute.
Here.
Yeah, Dolly,
I'm here.
Todd,
Here.
Jennifer,
Here.
and then Tiffany, if you could help me with the room.
Robin. Here. John.
Here.
Kevin.
Here.
Colin.
Here.
Here.
Tiffany and Matt, yeah, here. Great. First order is to review the minutes that are in the packet. Any questions at all about the minutes or any issues? Can I get a motion as well to approve?
I'll provide the motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Dolly. Motion approves for the minutes. And then jumping right into the financial reports for October.
Okay, so that's about page 3 in your packet. At the close of business of October 31st of this year, at our overall budget, we were at 32% expended. That compares to 23% in the prior year. Our admin costs were at 28% compared to 32% in the prior year. Our adult expenditures were 42% compared to 17% in the prior year. Dislocated worker expenditures were at 22% compared to 18% in the prior year. Our youth expenses were at 27%, and that tracks evenly with the prior year at 27%. And then as for our work experience, we were at 5% of the total 20% that we need to expend on that grant that ends June 30th of next year.
And we're about a third of the way through, right? So as I look at, July, August, September, October, right? This includes October. So when I look at those percentages, we're well under any concern for going over, right?
Yes, and I guess you could technically say, well, adults a little bit, over a quarter of expended, but that amount doesn't necessarily just continuously continue upward. It's probably going to peter off here a little bit, and we'll be under budget on the adult. But as of right now, we are tracking well in all of our categories.
Yeah. Okay. And do you expect to do a transfer here soon? Are you going to wait till the spring?
Yeah, we'll want to get a transfer in probably by the end of this month. We usually get one submitted by January. So we just got our FY grants, the dislocated worker and the adult grants. The dislocated worker was a little over like 1.2 million, something like that. And then the adult was about, well, I've got the actual grant balances on here. So in order to actually manage the rest of our year, we will make that transfer. So let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see on that last page of my financial report, we got about 1.15-ish million in dislocated worker, and we'll want to transfer a little bit of that, the adult, because we got $650,000 in adult. We'll probably want to put at least 300,000, maybe 500,000, like we did on the last transfer.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then if I'll just continue, so on the bottom of this this initial page with the charts, we can see the updated status on our DSP invoices. We currently don't have any open invoices. We did just receive the money from the state. Well, we got notification yesterday from the state saying that the the monies have been approved for transfer. We hope to see that in the next day or two in our accounts, and then from there, it's 1 or 2 business days getting into Equus. So our October invoice will basically be covered by the first of next week, and we'll be fully up to date.
Yeah. On the September one, what I was trying to think about is what would be interesting or useful to kind of understand. And because I know that there's lots of variables there as we look at that, can we just maybe put a tell me what you think. I mean, but a practice in place that says if it's going to be show detail for each calendar week. So if it's going to go over 7 days, tell us what's that what is that situation? Because I think when we look at October, right? I mean, it's submitted, and even over Thanksgiving, it looks like you're getting paid within 2 weeks. In October, there's an sort of an unknown gap of what is that, 27 days from the time that you got the invoice to where it was submitted to the state. So, if there is something that says we couldn't pay because there was a draw open or there was challenges going back and forth and getting complete information on the invoice or whatever that is, I think that just to be able to say if it's taking longer than a week, let's document what that step is.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, Matt, so you're saying, so you're concerned specifically with the October invoice, is that correct?
The September invoice. So the October invoice looks like it
so,
was,
yeah.
I mean, you got it, and within 7 days, you submitted to the state. It went right before Thanksgiving. The state's now paying you. It's whatever today is, the 4th. You'll probably pay Equus by the 6th, probably the latest, the 9th. But if we look at that 9th date, that is 20 days, including 2 days of holiday, essentially, right? So that's pretty good. I think everybody's happy about that. When we look at the one for September, I mean, that is 38 days. We're getting really close to that time frame where people start yelling at Jennifer, right? So the 45 days. So again, it's 45, under 45 days is good, but just help us understand what's happening between October 11th and November 7th.
Okay, yeah, so in the middle of that, so once we have one draw ready to go, like for us in our books, we try to make it sure that every draw is specifically for, like, we have an August draw, we have a September draw, and so like Michael showed me, like in the past, they've submitted, we've had to submit draws with multiple months at one time. It's really difficult on us, on our end, to reconcile all of that. And these take a lot of review to just make sure everything's correct. So we try to keep it simple. All of August is submitted with August, all of September is submitted with August or September. And then what was going on with this September draw is that we had to get the August draw fully submitted and reviewed and sent back to us from the state because they basically, whenever they approve a draw, they send us an updated worksheet that we have to then update for our next drawdown. So before I could submit a September drawdown, I needed to receive that new, it's called a DWD 105 from the state. I needed to receive that. And so as soon as we received that, I think it was on the 31st of October, then I could start, getting the September draw ready. And then once I get my initial draw details together, which includes, 400 lines of, individual transactions and grant transactions. I'll give that to Michael. He'll review it, within a day or two, and then he'll get it back to me and I'll submit.
Yeah.
And so
No, that sounds good. It just doesn't
point, that
represent this
specific
in the
issue
document.
I was just waiting on that August to come through.
Yeah,
So,
and so that's what I'd like to see in the document. Like, so if there is something that's delaying us for whatever reason, that because if it takes 3 weeks for the state to get something back, and that's, I mean, again, we're under the 45-day timeline, but if it starts consistently dragging out there, we need to set the right expectations and maybe even escalate, and kind of try to figure out if there is a problem. So let's just document anything that's taking longer than a week as you kind of put that in with the step to say, got received state instructions or whatever you want to label that on the 31st, you know, submitted draw on the 7th, and it, because that was dependence, that would just be good to know.
And I'll even jump in on the August one. Something that I was looking with Colin yesterday, something that I need to add to this spreadsheet. So they do like year-end closing, or if they do like, it's called an applicable credit, where they try to match balances to actual things like that on the state level. It's the same thing. They use the same draw form that Colin was talking about. They actually will lock draws until that is completed or submitted. So if there's something on their end that they're looking at, they will actually do this. That's specifically for the August going into September, why that delay was there. That's something that I need to add to this draw tracking spreadsheet. But that's something that this year I was working with Mike Harmon in the financial area for their year-end close. That's things like that, or like you said, that's kind of what holds it up. And then like you saw for October, we met with them again. Tiffany, Colin, and I met with the review team. So Brenda Travis and all the team that actually reviews the draws, not the financial side, but the review side. And little things that originally were accepted, 2018 through 2020, they wanted changed, such as showing journal entries, which I somewhat disagree with. If we have actual expenses, I always put that in the spreadsheet. Here's actual, so you can match it to our grant reports and spreadsheets. That's kind of what was lost, during 2022, during those years. That's something I kind of argued with the financial side as well. As when I came in to clean up, I couldn't track anything because it wasn't matching. And so what they have requested is they want the exact draw spreadsheet to match the financial side. So I know I'm probably making it more confusing, but basically it's just making the draw more complicated. So it takes it, probably half a day now for Colin to go through, and we have 3 spreadsheets that track actual to the draw. So it is a little more work on him, but we've kind of ironed that out, and that's why you see October a lot quicker. It's because we put it in the format that they want. And so I think moving forward, it should move a lot faster. And that was something that they said was holding them up, early part of fiscal year 5. So I just want to put that out there, that it should move smoother, because we are doing more of what they have requested, draw tracking wise.
Yeah, no, I think that's good, but just, again, if it's going to take longer, if it's going to than 7 days, let's put it in there. And I think that just being able to call that out, because originally I think the question was, are we dragging our feet? And I don't think that that's the answer, right? It's that the steps just aren't visible. So let's try to get the steps a little bit more visible here. And then as much as we can, and I'm sure you're communicating more with Equus than than these quarterly meetings, but just like let's make sure everybody knows where things are, and there's that transparency. So I appreciate it.
Sure.
Now, is that, now I want to ask too, that spreadsheet that we worked on, is that,
That's just
are they gonna have access to that, or is
we can
that
give
something
it
that
to
we can share with them?
We can give it to them. What Colin's talking about is, we track internally, like I do, just to make sure that there's no repeated issues, right, with the draws and the information that we submit and all that stuff. We can share it with you, because like when Colin submits the invoice, right, if Brenda Travis comes back and has a question about something, I just put what date it was, who it's from, and what the question was. And then I usually underneath have whenever Colin responded, Michael responded, whoever responded to it. Because that's the only way, like I'm visual, that's the only way I can keep track of things, right, in my head, and keep all my puzzle pieces together. But I don't mind a bit, like Matt, we can share it with all of you all on the finance committee. We can just share it with Matt, to where you can just get on there and look and see what's going on with it. It's just a basic Excel sheet.
Yeah, it seemed to me like it was basically like what they want, but just maybe a little bit more information with the details. So
The large thing?
No,
No.
it's just it's just.
No, it says, Equus invoice submitted to us this day, and then it just line by line, you can just see like the October invoice was sent to us on, November 19th.
It's
And then just all the way
on
through.
a single page, right?
Well, we could add it
We
maybe.
can look at it, if we want to it could take, 2 or 3 pages to do the whole thing, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I see.
but
Yeah, I mean, I'm not questioning the work. I'm just saying that, we had because we didn't have the transparency in some of the detail, it looked like there were big, long time periods to pay that were causing some challenges for, our key partners. So we just wanted to dig into that. I mean, both the last two have been paid within this time frame, but if there are these issues that the state just sort of has because of the, they're trying to close the books, and so they don't pay anything for X amount of time. We want to make sure we over communicate that, but any transparency is good, and we may look at it a little bit and be like, oh, that's way too much detail, we don't care. But anything like that would just be helpful, I think, just to kind of close that topic.
so how about this? How about, for, when's the next finance?
3 months ago.
Was it February?
I will share it with you all, and then you all can let us know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Cause like then you have access to it, like it's digital, right?
sure. I doubt that this is a full board thing, but it would be
No.
nice to have that transparency here. So
No, the full board does not need to know.
No.
no, you're right.
Do you
Um,
mind if I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
We have on the BGWIB page, I can absolutely make like a page that we can either make it full transparency that the public can see, or we can make it so there's a password that board members have to get in. And it can have things like that. It can have also the current membership that you guys want quick reference to and things like that. So you guys can get to it and check it whenever you want. And that way it's acting off of a live document. So as Tiff or Michael or whoever updates that information, it's not going to have to be continuously sent out. It'll be there and available in real time. If you'd like for me to do that.
I love that idea myself.
Okay. We'll do
And
that
then
then.
it would be easy enough too, that if there were any questions in the meeting, we could just pull it up.
Mhm.
And that password, just to add to that, I think for this, Excel spreadsheet we're speaking of, I don't think anybody needs access to that, just this committee here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That password protection.
Okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's just start. I think that's good.
I'll take
All
care of
right.
that after the meeting.
Any other questions about that sheet? And then I think, Colin, are you going to take us through the rest of it, or anything else you want to kind of run through?
No, other than just to share that we did get the new FYI grants for the adult and disco worker, which I've kind of already mentioned. You can see those in total on the final page of the current grant balances report. That's the top one on that last page is, the AD, the 273,825, that's our adult grant. And then the 271 DW 25 is the dislocated worker grant. And a thing to note, I should just notice for you guys is, they did go ahead and include the rapid response funds that we have available on that grant. They normally don't include that. If we need to use some, like we can do something separate with the state to get it, but they just stuck it in our grant this time. So our total for that is $57,332.46. So that's just a new wrinkle. They just added that to us, right off the bat. So, in total, like program and admin, we're at about, a little less than, 1.1 million in dislocated workers. So,
How does that compare to what you were hoping, expecting, or like from an amount perspective?
that's about what we would normally expect. It's maybe just a little bit less. I actually probably should have brought that, what we got last year and the year before. But I mean, that's basically what we want to have is about
Okay.
1.2.
I'll recommend too, and this spreadsheet is basically kind of our Bible. That's what we use to reconcile between our books and the state and everything. Just for reference, I think a quick reference at the bottom, like you said, summarizing total per program, I think would be helpful. That way you can track your transfers and see, how much truly how much adult funds we have left, truly how much, dislocated worker, and you can get fancy. I mean, you can do it by the year it expends, like, how much adult funds do we have left that expend in FY25, and then how much do we have in 6. You can get, whatever this committee recommends, but we can do things like that. I think would just quick reference. I think it'd be quicker at the bottom here, and that would be my suggestion to like really track, what needs to be transferred essentially between, adult and dislocated worker. Things like that I think are super helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been more focused on, do we have enough? Is it running out? Are we trending okay? That kind of stuff more recently. But it is good to kind of get back, I think, into that standard practice of just understanding where things are. And I mean, I know Tiff and team, you're figuring out where to go target, like, and putting your foot on the gas or putting your foot on the brake, depending on what's available. So I'm not as yeah, I mean, but it just sounds like we're trending okay. We expect a transfer as we always do from dislocated to adult, and this is chugging along. Okay. Any questions about this report? I mean, we need to probably approve this, right?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you, Dolly. And since that's everyone. Motion passes. Thank you. And thanks for all the work. I know we give you a hard time, Colin. We actually think you're a good person, I swear. So
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I appreciate it though. Appreciate y'all's patience. We're trying to do this as well as possible, so.
it's there was a guy that talked about it was like a blind man with a Rubik's Cube. You keep turning it and saying, is this good? Is this good? Because you can't necessarily see it, right? So we keep asking slightly different questions each time. So, but I appreciate what you're doing. All right, next we've got the calendar for next year.
The calendar in your packet has the dates highlighted based on the formula we used last year, which was the last Thursday of the second month of each quarter. But if you want to change those dates, that's open to discussion too. And normally it's starting at 10 a.m.
Yeah, from my perspective, you've avoided Fayette County spring break, fall break. You've avoided Thanksgiving, so
Yeah.
you've hit the big ones for me. So this is fine for me. But Dolly, John, does this work for you?
There's one date that I will not be available, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think we're flexible if we want to move one around. Which one's that?
That'd be February 27th. I'll
Okay.
be at another conference that day. The Thursday before that, or the Wednesday right before that, either one would be fine, but that 27th, I'll be in Louisville, attending another conference. But I don't need to be here, but, if you want me to be here, it
For
would need
quorum,
to move.
we kind of need you.
Okay, well, it needs to move the day before on a Wednesday or the week before on a Thursday, whatever.
Yeah,
is up.
either of those completely work for me right now.
Yeah.
I will say I am moving into a new role that might have a little bit of travel, but I don't have anything on my calendar right now. And I do have jury duty in January, so yeah, so I can't commit to anything.
I was elected for that, but I wrote myself a letter to get me out of that because of my position and travel. You should, I've got a template for that.
Yeah, if you want to sign my doctor's note, we can figure that out. Yeah, that'd be. But
I can do either date.
Either
yeah,
day.
what's less stressful, John? Do you want to do the day
I like
before?
The 26th better because
Okay.
I'll be coming back from another conference the day before that.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so the 26th is
Yes, so a motion to approve these dates as written, except for the February date moving to the same time on February 26th from the 27th. Is there a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to
Thank you,
approve.
Dolly.
And I'll second that.
Thank you, John. That carries. All right, easy enough. So next, Tiffany, grants update.
We've got a national dislocated worker grant that I'm working on, that I'm hoping to get submitted by Monday. It would be to help with the Cody individuals, that were laid off in Danville. Other than that, we're looking for other grants, but like the grants that I've just not found any yet. Because the grants that we need, we want funding to provide additional services. But we also need to make sure that those are grants that like a TDS could be hired on with as well, for that grant cycle. So that's what I got on that. We're looking, we're just not finding.
Okay. Yeah, no, thanks. Right. Any other update? Tiffany, I guess you were talking to some of the other workforces. I mean, not to belabor the payment point, but how do we look, or are they seeing the same challenges from the state, or is there anything different about us, or?
No, there's nothing different about us. The one thing that Michael Gritton talked about and Becky with the KSEP was whenever they do a transfer, it holds up the draw. Right, so get your the suggestion they had was to pick the perfect time in the month that you're gonna put the transfer in. Because that's what they said, so that it affected their draws for like, if they're putting in for a transfer in October, then whenever they submit their drawdown for October, it seems to take longer to get. So just the only suggestion whenever I talked to Michael or yesterday again, was pick your time when you put your transfer in. Pick the right date. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Any other open discussion here?
Yeah, I will say that the full board meeting is gonna happen at 1:30. There's a bunch of candy here. So everybody that's in person will have options to grab some of this candy.
I heard bacon wrapped candy. That was what I heard as we joined. So
It's good.
Plenty of options.
And
The lemon fudge is a new thing. I've never had lemon fudge, and it's really
Now
good.
that's, yeah, that the first time I had that was last night too. The wife made all kinds of different things and for that, she used to, where I had live in-person apprenticeship classes all year. Come this time of year, she would make all kinds of stuff, and I think she got back in her realm because we've not had those live. So she made a bunch. I thought we were gonna have about 20 people, and she made a candy enough, I would think, for probably about 60 people.
Yeah.
So whatever's left, I put Robin in charge of the containers, because I had to do the pinky square, the Tupperware square. This particular one, she wants back, the rest of them are trash. She wants that particular thing back. So I put Robin in charge of whatever's left after the meeting today, she can do with it whatever.
I
share
can
with
sell
you.
it on a.
Sell it.
there we go. We don't need to do a transfer. We'll just start selling candy.
Yeah.
See what, for some of the prices I've seen, some of the candies that's out there is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
The one thing that I would like to, let you all know, is, and I'll let the full WIB know as well. We got chosen for 2 SETA sessions. Stacy will be leading one with using our social media, I've lost the word, Stacy. It was branding, product.
Yep.
Remind me the title of it.
Yep, it's and that essentially that's it. Branding and outreach with social media.
Yeah. And then the second one is taking workforce initiatives to rural communities, and Jennifer and Crystal and Hannah will be presenting on that one. It's about the Estill County project that we did with the CDLs. So, we're very excited, to have been chosen for 2. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Tell me the presenters again on the second one. Sorry. I know we talked about it already, but sorry.
Jennifer and Crystal and Hannah.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm sure those will be great sessions. Any other discussion? And if not, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Dolly.
And I'll second that. And
Thank
I'll
you.
see most of you guys, so I'll let you here at 1:30, right?
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, everybody, very much. Thanks for all the work, team.
Oh, and I'll work with Stacy and get her set up